Good morning, welcome to today's RC. And I don't want to drink that because the kettle's literally just been boiled. So a token good morning, welcome to today's RC coffee chat. Brilliant. Right, let me just make sure the sound is working good. If you are on the live version, can you just let me know in the comments, please, ladies and gents. And on to today's topics, which are on the other tab here. By the way, some of you may recognise that I'm wearing exactly the same clothes as I was yesterday, and the reason for that is the missus has been and picked up a dose of man flu. So I'm camping out here, well out the bloody way of it. Right, on to today's topics. Now, number one is that I try and lead by example. So that means many different things. So please share your posts in the Facebook group when you have a special landing. And also, on a serious point, clean builds. So that is topic number one. You'll find out about that in a few moments. Number two, the video log, which I published yesterday. Number three was a build day yesterday, and we got stuff built. Well, it looks like flying wings, so it's got to be a flying wing. Times two. Next topic is build process. So this is actually just a comment for in response to one of your comments, Anthony, over in the Facebook group. We'll be talking about the build process for models like this, and you'll find out what they are in a moment. The next topic is I missed one out. Is are we getting a mini SkyHunter? And I can tell you this is the closest vote of all time. In fact, it's inspired me to do a new vote, and those of you which would like to cheat and see what the vote is, in the top right hand corner, which is annoyingly my left hand corner, in the top right hand corner there is a new vote up there. Now don't panic if you've seen that vote, it will make more sense at the end of today's RC coffee chat. We also have a podcast which frankly sent me to sleep last night. It was really interesting, but gone. Anyway, and of course, we do need to do our daily check on whether the HobbyKing website is broken or not. And also, I have a comment from Mohammed as well I'd like to discuss with you too. So I need to just pop that in there as well. Mohammed's comment. Right. On to topic number one, which is actually not going to be the clean build. It's actually going to be a good morning to those of you which have been enjoying me this morning, this afternoon, this evening, or very early morning here for today's live RC coffee chat. So quickly scrolling up to the top. Good morning, Tux. Good morning, Wayne. Good morning, Rich. Good morning, Jake. Good morning, Turbo Tyler. Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Gordon, Wolfgang, scrolling down, anyway, on these. Bleakist, good morning, sir. Sick, you're on here as well. Riff, you're in here too. Good morning, Phil. Good morning, Olin. Good morning, Phil as well. Sick. Scrolling down, good morning, Mrs. Lauren. NQIS, Steve. Good morning, Steve. And good morning, Jeff, as well. Now, obviously, if I've been and missed your name, I do apologise. And don't forget, you can say hello in the comments section underneath this video if you are watching the recorded version. And good morning, Henry, as well. And yes, good morning. I think I've covered everybody so far this morning. Brilliant. So on to the first topic of today, which is I would like to lead by example. And the reason for that is that somebody who will remain unnamed in the Facebook group posted up a picture, and it was their FX61, and basically it was just a big bird's nest of cables. Okay, now I'm going to paraphrase Jeff. So many of you know Jeff 7 Demo 7. He's in the chat. He's in the chat right now, and Jeff put this phrase out, and I don't think he did it on purpose. It's just one of those phrases which stuck in the back of my mind. And his phrase was, "I'd hate for a model to fall out of the sky because of my own stupidity." Okay, and I think Jeff was doing some control horns at some point in time. And I don't know what it was about that phrase. I think it was just a genuinely honest phrase, and it just stuck in the back of my mind. So what we're going to go and do is take a look at a couple of photographs from some of the recent builds. And I'd hasten to add, I have not tweaked any wires. I just, in the case of the Clouds and the Phantom and the Mini Talon, I just lifted off the lid and took a photograph. This is how they work. I didn't touch a single wire, okay? So if we scroll down, this is the Phantom FX61, okay? Let's just take a quick look at here. Number one, I've been and created a separate platform for the Vector to sit on. And we'll see that we've got cable ties in here. We've got a resealable cable tie for the Vector itself. That is also sat on a bed of Velcro on both sides. So even if the cable tie failed, the Velcro would still hold the Vector down. Imagine if you've got a flight stabilizer flapping around inside of a model, that is not going to be classed as happy days. That is going to be sad days, that's for sure. Oh, you'll also see I put the antenna inside the fuselage as well, so I've got all the parts together. You'll also see that the ESC is even cable strapped down, and it's got Velcro underneath, and the leads are all neatly tied up together. We've got more cable ties in here as well. On the little mezzanine, posh word for a shelf, is that I've drilled holes through there, and I've got resealable cable ties in there as well, and all the cables are all nice and neat and tidy. And that means is that one of my, especially with the Phantom or anything which is going to go a little bit further than normal, is that I can quickly do a pre-flight check, and I'll go round and just check every single wire. Just make sure it's plugged in, make sure it's put together. Visually check the HT leads which go out to the actual motor itself. Check the servos. Just go through the paces of just making sure everything's connected as it should be. That was the Phantom FX61. This is the Mini Talon. Okay, and it looks pretty bad here, but honestly, when you look it on from different angles, it's the same approach. We've got the Vector in there. It's on a Velcro base. We've got a cable tie around the top of it. So we've basically got two physical restraints on the Vector. Bleaker says no interference from the ESC to aerial being so close. No, the antenna is right out on the wing. Yeah, the video transmitter isn't in the hold. Let me just stress that. The antenna, the video transmitter is right out on one wing, and the receiver's out on the opposite wing. You've seen how paranoid I am, especially with the Clouds build. They are 1.5 meters apart from each other. Call me paranoid. I ran into a lot of issues with the little Hornet FPV wing, and where the receiver and the video transmitter were just too close, and I had so many stuffings unnecessarily. It was just stupid. My fault. And in fact, I've got issues with the new Hornet FPV flying wing. The little pink one with the hexagon signs on it. Is that I didn't put a D4R2 in it, and we had quite a few dropouts the last time I flew it. So that is on the upgrade bench at the moment. So anyway, coming back to the Mini Talon, we've got cables. They go out. This is one of the things I did like about the Mini Talon, is that little bay, that little tray which we could put stuff on. You could run cables out either side. You'll also see that I even stored the USB lead in there as well. Just kind of made sense. It was such a faff trying to get it in. I decided I took it out and then put it back in again with the USB lead in there. So if I ever needed to change something or I wanted to download the logs, I had the USB lead in there to hand. And to be frankly honest, because it's the Mini Talon and it could carry a small continent in its fuselage, it doesn't make any difference to its flying weight. Well, any noticeable difference to its flying weight. We'll see that we've got the certain cables running down one side and certain cables running down the opposite side. Also, the cables are on the inner walls are held on with these little sticky back cable tie holders. It's just like a little square. We've got some peel off thing on the back, and I just stuff it on the side, and then I can cable tie the wires to the sides so that they are restrained. They're not done up super tight. They're just done there just to hold the cables up out of the way. And the last one is the Clouds. Look, you can see I've just taken the lid off, and that is the Vector in the Clouds. And this one I did go on. I made a double mezzanine, double floor with a place for the strap to go up over. It's sat on a bed of Velcro. All the cable is super clear. Oh look, we can see down there. I don't know how well we can zoom in on this. There is one of those cable tie restraints. You can buy them in a local hardware store. Those of you which are in the United Kingdom, Screwfix is where I got them. They're a couple of quid for $1 million. Yeah, really, really straightforward to do. and it keeps the cables out to one side, and also allows you to separate the cables, which is the next topic. Can you see what's going on here? Again, you can see that we've got one of those cable strap holders on that side, and we've got another one on that side. So we've got power lines on which is actually the right hand side of the model, and they're tucked up out of the way. And then we have on the left hand side, we have FPV, RC out and RC in. Okay, now you can just about get a glimpse on there of some heat shrink tubing. Yellow means video, okay. Black means RC output, okay. This one here has got a bit of green in there, I believe, somewhere, and that's the RC in. And there was another color code which I've forgotten. Red, which was for power, and you see that I've used red heat shrink down here for power lines. Okay, so I'm starting to color code my heat shrink, which I'm using. Okay, and you'll also see that unfortunately my label maker's run out of labels, so I've had to resort to using a little bit of masking tape. Just cut off a little piece, fold it round, right on there, and we can see on there that is either saying RSSI or S-Bus on those two, because those are the RC inputs, and then we can see ailerons written on, or ALI written on that side. Super simple to do. These are resealable cable ties, so it does mean that on the flight line I could tweak them, I could get into any part which I wanted to do on the flight line. So that is topic number one. I really just wanted to just share and to lead by example for tidy builds. It just makes sense. It takes a couple of minutes longer, and if it saves you a couple of minutes on the flight line over time, then it's well worth the investment, and that's what I've been and done on mine. Now, there was a comment in there from Steve saying, so you do recommend using flight stabilizers? Yes, absolutely. So Steve, I'm guessing that you saw my comment in the S800 goodbye video, which I did a short while ago. And the reason why I was suggesting not to use a stabilizer in the S800 is because, generally speaking, that is going to be a new pilot's wing. Okay, and to work out how a stabilizer should work and things like that is an extra layer of complexity, which is frankly not needed. Stabilizers would definitely help with keeping the model steady. So if you're going to be using that wing for video footage, or you're a slightly more experienced pilot, yeah, stabilizer could be the way to go. But for a new person getting into the hobby or into their first wing, maybe coming from quads, frankly, that S800 doesn't need a stabilizer at all. It's stable as it is. And yeah, it'll get knocked around a bit by the wings, but if you've been a quad pilot, then you're going to overcome that exceptionally quickly. You're probably not even going to notice it. So, yeah. Do you make sure that you put it in a toggle so that you can bypass if need be? If your stabilizer does support a bypass, make sure that is on a toggle switch, ideally on the left hand side of your transmitter, so that you don't have to take your fingers, or if you're pinching, or your thumb off the right hand stick, which has got your elevator and rudder in it, which is going to be kind of detrimental if you're flying a flying wing, and to many degrees any other type of model as well. So yeah, stabilizers, yeah, all the way. I got like 4 of those orange ones here, which have got not the ones with the receiver in, just the standalone, and I used them when I started to learn to fly. There's nothing wrong with using stabilizers at all. In a model like this, like the Clouds or the Phantom or the Mini Talon, the reason why we're using stabilizers is flight efficiency. Because the stabilizer, in this case a vector, so it's an inexpensive stabilizer if you look at it just from that point of view, allows that it can react far faster than our hands can. Okay, it's a machine, and that's all it does. Keep the model still, however many times a second. Okay, so yeah, the stabilizers all the way, totally. Steve, yeah, if you're new to wings, I would frankly suggest don't touch it. Don't worry about a stabilizer. Okay, just get up and get a couple of flights in, and then once you're a little bit more experienced, do go and pop a stabilizer in it and make sure you get all the surfaces moving in the right way. And YouTube is the best place to find that out. So for example, if you ping the nose up, the ailerons should go down. Okay, and if you put the nose down, the ailerons should come up. And then if you move it, tilt it to its left, or if we're looking at the model to its right, the right aileron should come up, just like if you were doing it manually. It should compensate for you. But this is why I'm saying it's an extra layer of complexity, which really is not ideal for a new pilot. Okay, so Steve, my honest answer is just get out. Just go out and fly it. Of course you're going to stuff it in a few times. Who cares? In fact, if you do stuff it in, stick a photo in the Facebook group. It's just the way it is. Don't feel ashamed. It's just a journey. It's the journey of you learning to fly. So, happy days. Six says, wind doesn't really affect quads. The Z84 was a real eye-opener to how wind messes with the flight aerodynamics. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, saying that, Sick, you're quite a proficient quad flyer. I've seen a couple of your videos, and you would have been all over those sticks like crazy. So having to go left and right and up a little bit would have been nothing actually in comparison. What the experience for you would have been coming from like quad side is having to react. That's like what your comment's saying, is you're having to react to what the wind's doing, whereas the quad, everything was kind of like precise based upon your stick input. Now you've got this other influence on the model, which is called the wind, and you get chucked around a bit, which just makes it exciting. It really does. It really does. Adrian Lee says, what's the latest update on the EasyCap FPV streaming project that you were working on? In short, it works. Where's the one which works? It was actually the cheapo EasyCap one which works, and I got returned the other two back to Amazon. Works great. Absolutely great. We are getting quite a lot of, I think, basically the input signal from the diversity receiver is probably a little bit strong, so we need to attenuate it with my highly technical working out of that many resistors, which is free of an unknown resistance. Well, I knew what they were when I put them in. I don't know what they are now. So it needed a couple of ohms just to drag the signal down a touch, and I may also just do a little voltage divider on it just to tweak it around, and I'll probably play with two potentiometers to see what I can get it right, because it was like really white, like it was too much signal for coming in. So yeah, it's getting there. We'll do that at some point. The last couple of times I've been going out is there ain't anything worth showing, and plus the wombats on the side, and I'd really love to do a spank around in the wombat. So that was topic number 1. Apologies, it's taken us 20 minutes to get to topic number 2, and I'll do my best to speed through the rest of these ones now. So number 2 is the video log yesterday. Yeah, that seemed to go down well. Did you like the video log? Let me know in the live chat, and if you're watching the recorded version, let me know in the comments below. I kind of enjoyed it. Now, I do have a new toy which arrived yesterday, so we may be seeing some more episodes like that in the future, because I think generally speaking, most people enjoyed it, it was a little bit different. Oh, and there was a lot of comments about me driving on the correct side of the road, and I'd like to make the point that it's you mad bastard Americans driving. Will you drive on the wrong side of the road? I've seen that before. You absolute nut jobs. How don't you keep hitting the left-hand door card trying to change gear? I don't know. So I've driven a left-hand drive car before. Every time I go to change gear, my knuckles were killing me. I just keep bashing the door trying to go for the gear stick. You're like, whoa, you got to change for your right hand? What's all that about? So that is why I shared that video of me driving, because it was Chris from iForce 2D, which I remember seeing some of the roads down in New Zealand. And I remember also Bruce did one as well, which he put in Patreon. And that was really, really curious, just seeing what the outside is like rather than just seeing the flight line. So I will include something like that in the future as well. On to topic number 3 is, I don't only have just one wing sat here next to me, I have 2, because yesterday Lauren says, I just reversed the video. Good girl. Anyway, I've got 2 wings here today because yesterday was a bit crappy here. Weather-wise, it wasn't really a flying day. Although I did take that little rainbow wing out the front. Oh, and I finally broke it. And I had to put a nice bit of carbon down the back again for it. So anyway, the first wing, which I have here, and you can see that she's still got her supports on her. This is a TBRC Reflex 38, so it's a 38-inch wingspan. Really kind of like straightforward so far. And I will get to that note for Anthony later. Yeah, really straightforward. I have made a plywood base to go in there. The carbon, the rolled carbon shaft, I don't know if you can see. That's not going to focus. Come on, focus you. No, you'll have to take my word for it. That's a rolled carbon fibre tube. It's 7mm. I put it in and it was too sloppy. And then I read the instructions and we had a chat about it on Facebook about using Gorilla Brown glue. I don't like that glue. And you saw why I don't like that glue. It just glues everywhere. It's not my cup of tea. I won't use it in my models. I know many of you will do. And of course, that's your decision. Really, I am a goop glue guy and I did use almost, stinks of goop in here today, 2 tubes of goop yesterday. That's how much I got left of a brand new tube. And I finished the dregs off in another one as well. Yeah, coming back to that, yeah, they did provide a rolled carbon spar. I didn't like it. I had a 10mm carbon spar here, so I got the drill out, stuck it in the end, ran the drill with the sander on it up and down, and sanded up the spar, and then rammed it in here. So we now got a 10mm rolled carbon fibre spar in the back of this one, and it's made an epic difference to it. That's for sure. It was nice that it came pre-cut out with a bay in the middle. I have put a little 1.5mm plywood base inside. Now I do know that's going to add a tiny bit of weight, but frankly, I don't care. It just means setting out components is a lot bloody easier later. And what's left to do on this one? Pin up. And I will get to that topic about pinning up to answer Anthony's question in a moment. No, I will not be using Yoo-hoo Pour, piss poor shafter. Not my favourite type of glue at all. The reason why we don't use, I'm not a fan of Yoo-hoo Piss Pour is in its name actually, because it turns yellow once it gets some sunlight on it. So that's doing some very strange things to the white balance. Anyway, this is the wing which I was trying to get to the other morning, and then that's why I ended up doing that one, because this was in the box on the top, and I thought, oh, it's only a small one. Won't take 5 minutes, and how wrong was I? And anyway, that's the Team-Legit FG36, and I'm really, this is the one I bought, I don't want to say how long ago. Put it this way, it was too long ago. And it was this compared to, say, the Clouds FPV, which was a pre-made kit, an EPO kit. These wings, all of them, piece of piss. Absolute piece of piss to build. You'd obviously, if you've got no prior building experience, obviously YouTube, go and check out Jeff's channel 7 Demo 7. He did a FOHDY build. It's an hour long, but he'll cover all the basics with you. And don't forget, with the Wombat build, I do have a step-by-step, well, kind of step-by-step build series, which is going to come out in the near future for that. But the FG36, it is a race wing. It's got a much smaller blunt nose in there. And I will get onto that major topic, the one challenge which you have for building wings like this, to answer Anthony's question in a few moments' time. So I have the little apex being finished off at the moment. There's only the hatch which is holding me back. And then I've got the Team-Legit FG36, and we have the TBRC Reflex 38 here as well. And we'll see what they fly like. And remember, those 3 models were all bought out of my money. We'll see what they are like in the near future. Quick look on there. Yeah, I'm still not sure about this launch app. And again, I'll just go back to my show notes. So you see that I got the Elevons on there now. The motor's been mounted up. The wiring's been done. But I'm still just not sure on this little hatch on the best way of holding it down. I'm not sure yet. Oh, actually, fuck it. Do you know what? I've just worked out what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little tab of Velcro up here, and then I'm going to put 2 tabs of Velcro either side, and then I'm going to have a whole sheet which tears off on the top. Crude, yet effective. Won't be the most prettiest, but it'll get me past that challenge of getting her ready. Brilliant. Yeah, sick. Yeah, he hates how it discolors the white foam. Yeah, I put the Yoo-Hoo paw on the C1 Chaser, and it bled out a little bit, and it's got these little yellow marks on the joints. Now, I'm not opposed to using Yoo-Hoo paw. The Clouds XUAV and the Mini Talent were all stuck together with Yoo-Hoo paw, mainly because it was the largest amount of glue I had to hand, and unfortunately goop glue actually melted the foam on the Clouds. I'm not opposed to using it. It just has been named Yoo-Hoo Piss Paw because it does turn yellow. So if you're going to use that for your models, especially on a white foam, whether that's EPP or EPO foam, make sure you clean up any mess because it will turn yellow and you end up with these little pee-pee stains down all the seams. Not great. Yeah, Jeff, it absolutely reeks of goop in here today. Yes, Laura Joanne, you're absolutely right. Joanne says, only a few chats ago you were saying you were all assembled out, a bit model fatigued. It sounds like the spark is back again. Yeah, yesterday the weather was horrific, and I really want to get that FG36 up in the sky because I know it's going to be batshit crazy. It's going to be brilliant. And that was the one which I was trying to get to before I got distracted by that one. So we'll probably end up with like 3 or 4 models ready at very, very similar times. Because don't forget, we got the 48. You can see it. Turn my finger around the right way. That is weird. It's behind me anyway. She is over there and she is still being worked on. So we'll end up with about 3 or 4 models already about the same time as well. Yeah, probably. That's all I'm saying to Lauren. Yeah. Wayne, I think you've hit the right. The POS curse is over. Happy days. Yeah. These wings, they're all going to be pretty good. The only one which I'm frankly worried about is this little one. I am a little bit concerned about that one, just because of its size and its robustness, to be honest. Especially if you might think I am going to be spanking it round on 4 and 5S. Is a bit 50-50 on how well it's going to take a unscheduled landing. Right. Now that brings me on to really nicely to Anthony's comment in the Facebook group. So Anthony, this is for you. Those of you which don't know Anthony's question, in short, Anthony was saying, wow, is that all you get in the kit? And I tell you what, let's pick on the FG36. I'll put it in next to me. Okay, because it screws up the white balance. In short, what you get in the kit is you get the 2 wing halves, which come with the beds. Keep the beds, okay? You get the blunt nose section, you get the motor mount where the slit has already been pre-cut for you, and you get the accessories, you get the elevons, you get the control horns, you get the push rods, and probably something else which I'm forgetting. Oh, the winglets to go on the ends, the skids for the front, and I've probably forgotten something, but that's the basic summary of the kit. So yes, you've basically been and purchased 3 pieces of foam and some bits, okay? But also keep in the back of your mind is that you've been and purchased a kit which is known to fly exceptionally well. These are like race wing territory, okay? And it is a premium kit at $130. And you do have to go and spend some time, love, and attention to get these models over the line, to get them to the flight line, okay? But in reality, these flying wings are an absolute piece of piss to build, especially comparing to... Remember, I've just come out of the Clouds XUAV build, okay? What a arse to build, okay? I will do a build overview video to that one at some point, and it wasn't a simple build. And remember, that was a pre-made kit, okay? I had to tweak and adapt a lot of things. With this one, the only important thing, obviously gluing it up and you've got to go through the paces and stuff, the most important thing about a build like this is the most crucial thing of them all, and it's called center of gravity. So the CFG for this one is 5.5 inches from the nose. So what I will do today is measure out 5.5 inches from the nose, put a line across the bottom with masking tape, not a Sharpie. I've learnt my lesson there. And then put 2 pins either side up underneath, so then I can balance her like this, okay? And then what I'll do is pin out the components. So I will put masking tape on for the elevons. I'll pin on the, the winglets. I'll put sellotape or something on there just to hold a motor on there. I'll put an ESC on here. None of it's wired up, okay? Just rough placements. I'll put the servos on there. I'll even lay the push rods on there. I'll put the battery on the front. I'll put a run cam on the nose as well. I'll lay out all the key components, even put the skids on as well. And then I'll check the CFG. So I'll put it in like roughly the right places. And then I'll go back and check the CFG. Obviously video transmitter as well, and receiver I've missed out too. And I'll roughly lay them out where I want them to go. And then I'll go back and check the CFG. Then, guaranteed, I'll need to move something around, okay? Because either it will be tail heavy or it will be nose heavy, okay? And then, once I'm happy with that, I'll take a photograph on my phone and then I'll put pins in all the places, so then I've got a permanent record of where the parts go. I will then go on to make sure that the servos are in exactly the same place. Okay, so then I'll start getting the ruler out and measuring and get the millimeter perfect. Then cut out a bay for the battery, put the components in, laminate, and off we go. That's the basic summary of it. But the most important part of this build, Anthony, is the C of G. All the individual parts, like gluing the wings together, putting the motor mount in, putting the electronics in and stuff like that, and cutting out foam, all those little things are individually really, really straightforward. The biggest thing for a build like this, and it doesn't matter if it's a wing like this, in fact, I'll make a point to put some photographs up later today when I'm mucking around with the CFG, is that I'll put photographs in the Facebook group. I will do exactly the same with the Reflex wing as well, because it is the most important thing for my setup, for your setup. You put your components down, because my layout will be slightly different to yours, because I'll be using bigger servos. I might be using smaller servos, you know. I might be using a bigger battery. You might be using a smaller battery. You'll have a different ESC. And that's exactly what I did with the Apex. Before I put even a drip of glue anywhere near this wing, I had everything pinned up on her. I had like 1 million pins in the sides. I had those things on. I had the elevons on the back. I even had the control horns just taped down with a bit of masking tape on top of those, just to make sure that I could hit CG on this little wing, because CG is the most important factor for any model. Okay, all the other stuff like digging this receiver hole, putting the servos in, the ESC, the motor, those things individually are all easy. I'm sure everybody here can do that, but it's the CG which is the most important factor. So sorry for saying CG so many times, but it is the most important factor. And wings like this are super straightforward to do. I've already, actually sometimes the hardest thing for me is actually how I'm going to finish a model. I did come up with that idea a couple of weeks back, so I'm happy with that, with the way it's come out. To be frankly honest, I probably won't repeat that kind of pattern again, but I'm glad, and I like how it looks. For the FG36, that one is going to be a simple one, because I already know she is going to be pure white. And it was Tori, he put a photograph up of his a while ago. He had some red little bits on it. But I know that my FG36 is going to be pure white. And that is just going to be the way which I do it. And of course, that also enables me at a later date, is that if I want to put a skin on top of it, so like you've seen with the Deadpool, which... was it Daniel Warren? Oh, the chap who made the new banner image. And if you haven't seen it yet, we've got it in the Facebook group. Let me scroll up. Yeah, that one there. Absolutely fantastic. And it does enable me later, if I've got a white canvas, I can do anything with it if I so wish in the future. So apologies if I missed out your comments. Gordon says CG is important for fixed wings. Quads are just flying bricks, and the CG isn't going to make that much of a difference. Absolutely, you'd have to start like your run cam and your battery up on one end of the quad for it to make a noticeable difference, unless you're a pro and you'll notice every milligram out of the way. But no, seriously, with quads, it really doesn't matter where you stick your stuff, like the big weighty components. You're going to fly it anyway. There's enough grunt in those motors to shift them out. A tail heavy flying wing, unbelievably scary in the sky. You just can't control it. It just wants to drop its ass down and it'll turn over and stall on you without any notice, in short. Whereas a properly balanced wing will fly like poop off a shovel. And I'm trying to keep the swear words down today. Right, so that was the build process for Anthony. So apologies if you were not interested in a flying wing, but Anthony was, so I thought it best to cover just some of those basics. And remember, one thing, the most important thing about build process is the CG point. You always got to keep that in the back of your mind, and I'm sure you've seen me do that with many of the other builds. I'm straight in there putting stuff up together because I want to lay out stuff and find out where and when I'm going to hit CG. And remember, I was grossly wrong with the clouds as well. I had the CG completely wrong. Went back, read the manual, and then that's why we fly the clouds with two 5200 4S packs in the nose. So, yeah. Right, let's pause for a moment, because the next topic which we have is actually a curious one. This so far is the closest vote which we've had to date. So yesterday I asked you the question on whether you would like for us to see, or I'll go and get one of these and we'll see what it flies like, etc, etc. Basically based upon the fact the micro SkyHunter is absolutely amazing fun. And what a such mixed set of reactions. It has been like a really mixed set of reactions, and there were some really good conversations going on in yesterday's RC Coffee Chat in the comments afterwards, and we'll get to one of those comments in a moment. But we need to look at the hard numbers, because it was very, very close. Now, do I have the vote there? So just so you can see that I'm not making this stuff up, and let me turn my head off just for clarity. There you go. You see 25 and 22. Okay, we count the 2 extra heads in there as well. And then on YouTube, we turn my head off again, which you can kind of see. Well, you'd have to take my word for it. That says 11 in there. So let's get me back. So the vote yesterday was Facebook were 25 yes and 22 no. How's that for close results? And then on YouTube, there was 11 and 5 for no. So overall, the Mini SkyHunter won with 36, but 27 of you said no. That's quite a reaction, isn't it? If we think about it, so a good like 40% of you said no. So what I'm going to go and do today is in the top left-hand corner. I'm just following them for the comments which came in yesterday. Okay, I'm not going to let the 36 people, well, potentially 36 people who voted yes, down. Okay, so we are going to go and get ourselves a Mini SkyHunter. What I am going to go and do today is address the 27 no's. So in the top left-hand, your top right-hand corner, there's an eye icon, and I will set a vote off in the Facebook group, just like I did yesterday, about a full-size SkyHunter. That is a model which I've always kind of liked, and we can get them now. So it will be a white one. Unfortunately, they don't do the black or the grey ones anymore, and I'm going to put it up for a vote for you again. Now, obviously, this one will take a while to get here, and it'll be a couple of weeks' time, etc., etc. Whereas the HobbyKing Mini SkyHunter, that'll probably be with us on Tuesday, because we get Parcel Force here in the United Kingdom. So I'm going to put that a vote to you. Would you like to see the full-size SkyHunter? And the answer is yes or no. And you can put a vote in the top right-hand corner of this video. Also, there will be a vote in the Facebook group as well. Or if I've put a third option in there, which is leave a comment. Okay, if you can suggest a different model, please do so either in the Facebook group or over in the comments underneath this video. You get to help shape what you're going to be seeing in a couple of weeks' time, maybe a month's time, something like that. So if there's a model which you'd like to see, leave it in the comments. Would you like to see the full-size SkyHunter? Let me know. I thought that was the best way to do it. Okay. Lauren says, yes, but all the no's were correctly voting for it. So, yeah, I don't want to let the 36 votes down. Those of you which took the time to vote yes, we are going to get a mini SkyHunter. So that is now set in stone. But I am curious to explore the no's. Okay, so the obvious one is that I'm guessing a couple of you would like to see the full-size SkyHunter, hence the vote today. If you have, like I said, if you have a suggestion on a different model, your feedback is really important for me. I'd like to be flying some of the stuff which you'd like to fly. So if it's not a full-size SkyHunter, share it with me. Don't do it in the comments right now because I probably missed those. Let me know in the vote in the Facebook group, and also let me know in the comments underneath this video as well. Right. I'm just very aware of time, so I'm going to go very, very quickly. There is a podcast which you should definitely spend the time to go and listen to. Like I said, I listened into that last night. A link to that is in the video description for you. There is one topic I do want to cover, and it was about the mini SkyHunter, and it came in from Mohammed. And as you know, I normally like to address topics head on. This is one of those topics which I'd like to address head on. So Mohammed says, we know he's a tea drinker, I think. So you'll have to imagine it's a cup of tea. Mohammed says, with what you do for the community, I would have thought that HobbyKing, HK, would be sending you an EFX for free, maybe, unless they're in hibernation. Right, so I just wanted to share this with you. Like I said, I like to cover some of these topics head on for it. So you can see my reply in there. In reality, HobbyKing are basically going to get a month of me going to their website and declaring it's broken because the EFX Extra is not in stock. So for them, it's going to be free PR. Okay, I am genuinely buying that model the moment it comes into stock. I also, and again, I'm just being very open with you, I do have slight reservations on its life expectancy. It won't be long until I try and do stupid stuff with it, like trying to fly down in the shit and go through balls deep with it at 100 miles an hour. That may happen later. So I do have serious concerns over the longevity of that model, mainly due because not of the hardware, but due to the wetware, aka the pilot, and my enthusiasm for going fast and doing silly stuff at times. So coming back onto the topic, HobbyKing. If we look at it from their point of view, they're going to get free PR out of it for a month. Whether they like it or not, I am going to go to the website and go and declare it's broken until it's released. And then you will see one very excited 12 and 1/4 year old having basically a riot when it arrives up. And probably the other one is point blank. I've probably pissed them off too much in the last couple of months anyway. But to be 100% clear, I'd not say no. But can you just imagine the epic riot which we are going to have here together when it does arrive? Because it is going to be the red one. As we know, red is the fastest colour. And also, it's got 69 written on it. And that does beamuse the 12 and 1/4 year old in me. So I am going to walk around with a sold sign on my head, which I think I did yesterday for the EFX Extra. So without further ado, we need to go to the HobbyKing website and type in EFX Extra bash. No, it's broken again. Sorry, HobbyKing. Your website's broken. I might have to go onto their live chat and complain that their website is broken. There's no EFX extras on there at all. Right. And by the looks of it, we might be getting a few votes for the full-size SkyHunter, according to the chat there as well. Right. And what are we on to? That is the topics for today. So to quickly recap, clean builds. I felt it important to lead by example with my own builds. Okay, let's keep it tidy, guys. Remember, I would hate for a model, keep this saying in the back of your mind, I would hate for a model to fall out the sky because of my own stupidity. I would hate for that model to fall down and hit me, let alone anybody else. So a couple of extra minutes in the build process, a couple of cable ties, bit of extra Velcro, tidy stuff up. Do not end up with a great big fucking bird's nest in the middle of your model. It saves you time in the long term because if you do need to tweak something on the flight line, you can do it really, really quickly, even with cold hands as well. The video log, that seemed to go down quite well. If you haven't seen that yet, check the YouTube channel. It's me having a chat in the car on the way to the flight line, a bit of mucking around on the flight line, and then on the then some reflection on the days flying on the way back as well. And you can see us, or see me, driving on the correct side of the road as well. And you know I'm taking the piss on that, yeah. The Reflex and the Reflex 38 and the one I'm really, really looking forward to, the FG36, is in the build stage. I will be doing, like we said, later comment for Anthony. My challenge today is find the CG point and pin up all the components on the model without putting any knives anywhere near it until I've got everything mapped out exactly where I want it and then I hit in CG. Then, and only then, will I get the knife out and the soldering gun and start digging holes and getting the components in. Okay. The build process, that was going back to Anthony's comment, it is, honestly, these flying wings, they do take experience. There's no two ways about that. Jeff's got a video on, if you look up 7, demo 7, so number 7, screw it, I'll just show you. 7, demo 7. You go to, I've gone to Uballs, Facebook, sorry. 7, demo 7, Facebook, YouTube. And type in FOHDY. Oh, I've typed that wrong. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. There's Jeff's channel. Go and have a look on that. You go through some of his builds, and there's one in there for a FOHDY, FOHDY, something like that. And it's about an hour-long episode. Jeff will cover you through all the basics for you. Okay, do go and take a watch of that. If you're not already subscribed, go and hit the subscribe button as well. And yeah, honestly, Anthony, wings like this, they just don't faze me. And the reason why they don't faze me because I've literally just come out of the XUAV build, and that was a pain in the ass. The mini Talon, that take me like 3 months to get it over the line in the end, and all that laminate was a right pain in the ass. Laminate and a flying wing, piece of piss. You do it in like an hour tops. If you don't know what you're doing, probably for us about half an hour, and then we'll leave it to set, and then we'll go back over and really make sure the land's been sat down. So yeah, honestly, it looks daunting to begin with, but as soon as you've been and built your first one, you get that CG right, it's all happy days. Everything individually are all straightforward tasks, and you do end up with some fantastic models like the FG36. I really am looking forward to that one, to say the least. We had a note on the podcast that is definitely worth a listen. I am going to carry on listening to that myself today. We had the vote for the mini SkyHunter. We have a new vote today. Top right hand corner, you get to vote, and also there will be a vote in the Facebook group as well today. So those of you which feel passionately either way can chuck your 2p in and double vote if you want to. And what was the last one? Oh yeah, and unfortunately the HobbyKing website is still broken. Dear HobbyKing, the 12 and 1/4-year-old based in Bristolia here in the United Kingdom of Wetness would really like an EFX racer to spank around in the sky at 100 miles an hour plus with the FPV pod. He's not as good as Sir Tom, who can do crazy batshit fucking stuff up there. Like, I don't know if you've seen Tom's video. He's mental. But yeah, seriously, get him one. Can't wait for him to come out. Really want one. So we have got another month of this to see when the EFX Extra comes out, and straight in FPV, and we're just going to chuck her. It's going to be good fun. It's going to be good fun. Let's have a quick look. I'm just seeing what you've been chatting in Olin. Sorry, ladies and gents. Yeah, you've completely lost me in the chat. I will go back and watch this video after today's RC Coffee Chat afterwards, and keep an eye on the chat above to see what you're saying. If I've missed any questions which you want to ask me, or I've missed a major topic, please do go and raise it over in the Facebook group. The link to the Facebook group is in the video description. Facebook.com/groups/rag the nuts off. If you've not already been joined yet, on the right hand side, just hit the join button. One of us will pick up your join request, and you can join in with the fun, and such as comments like landed on less than ideal landings in there. Also, if you're not subscribed to this channel, underneath this video there's a red button which says subscribe. Click on subscribe. If you press the bell icon, you will get notified the second the next episode has been published. And on that note, the last topic for me to cover is number 1. If you've enjoyed today's RC Coffee Chat, hit the like button underneath this video. And the other topic is that if you are out flying today, I am very jealous. Please stick a battery in for me and spank the living daylights out of the model, because today it's going to be raining all day, and as you can see, my build bench is going to be rather full of flying wing. Brilliant! So on that note, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for joining me for today's RC Coffee Chat, and I'll see you about the same time tomorrow morning. Cheerios!